please welcome our next guest, is Professor Danilo Ardila, with the topic Environmental Impacts of Overpopulation, Causes, Consequences, and Possible Solutions. Professor Ardila is a professor graduated from Universidad Pedagógica Nacional, from the Bachelor in Foreign Languages and Master in Education. He is from Bogotá. He has worked at Universidad Santo Tomás from 2014. He has also worked as a teacher at Universidades EXI, Universidad Militar Nueva Granada, De La Salle, and Universidad Nacional. He has been a teacher since 2007. He has always been closely linked with issues about education, environment, society, national policy, and international affairs. Also, he has been linked since he was a student with international organizations such as Greenpeace, PETA, UNODA, and UN. Nowadays, he is an English teacher and researcher from Languages Institute, Fray Bernardo de Lugo, OP, at USTA. Please welcome him to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Okay, so today everybody's here for our presentation, and that's one of the most important concerns nowadays. We have a lot of issues that we're worried about, yes? According to the Organization of the United Nations, this is one of the most fundamental topics that we have to take into account for the future generations, yes? If you visit the website from the ONU, yes, you can find that they have like an emphasis on different topics. One of these is our population, migration, climate change, and some other topics, yes? So I thought that this was very important to talk about this phenomenon of overpopulation nowadays. So the title of my presentation is Environmental Impacts of Overpopulation, Causes, Consequences, and Possible Solutions. Okay? So let's start. So we are going to start by the beginning, okay? The first thing that we are going to take into account is the definition, because everybody knows, okay, overpopulation. Everybody thinks that overpopulation is a lot of people, yes? But the specific definition of overpopulation is this one, okay? Overpopulation is used to describe a situation which the area has a population so large that people are suffering as a result. As a result of our population, people don't have a good lifestyle or quality, resources, space, and some other stuff, okay? People, do you know any place that is suffering from this phenomenon nowadays? India, okay, yeah. Any other? China, okay. Any other? China, India, yes. The best examples are these countries, these two countries. Any other? There are some others. Mexico is not really an overpopulated country. Another, the Philippines, exactly, that's a very good example. Yeah. Another one is the biggest group of islands in the world. No. Well, Japan is another good example. Yeah, but it's not Japan. Russia, they are the largest country and they have just 185 million inhabitants. So it's not an overpopulated country. Okay, I'm talking about Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a group of islands and they have about 214 million people. Yes, it's similar to the population of Brazil, but take into account the size of Brazil. Okay, so the best examples, as you said before, are China and India. Yes, all of them. Which continents do you find these countries? Where do you think? In Africa? Where in India? No. In Asia, exactly. Okay, these countries actually they share a border. Okay, good. So let's continue with our presentation. Okay. First of all, we are going to see what are the causes so that we can have these phenomena in different countries. Okay. The first one is that people are living longer. Why are people living longer? First of all, because now we have better medical facilities, yes, to attend people when they go to hospital, yeah? You have X disease, any kind of disease, so you can have access to health, yeah, to health system, yeah. So that is one of the most important reasons, yes. Before, yeah, our country, Colombia, the rate that you have, the years that you were able to live, it was about 71 for men, yes. Nowadays it's 81. So that means that in 50 years, the expectancy has increased in 10 years for men. And something very similar has happened with women, yes. Taking into account the social connotation of our country, okay. The second topic, or the second reason that the population is growing in many different countries all around the world is the limited access to planning. Okay, why is it happening? Yeah, people don't have access to planification methods. Yes, as we have in some other developed or developing countries. In Colombia, there is a good access, but the problem is our education, yes, and that not everybody has the access to have to an EPS like most of us have, yeah. If you go to the rural areas, yes, to the countryside, you will see that the amount of people that have access to EPS or to a health system is just 34%, 34% out of 100. So when you limit people the access to health, you limit the access to planning, yeah. So that is another very important reason, yeah. The next one, yeah. The babies, the birth rates are higher every year. Why? Because when you have baby, when families have babies, if they have any problem, they can have access to health, yeah, to a health system that is not the best, but in relation to children is good, yes, at least in urban areas, yes, in Cali, Medellin, Bucaramanga, Bogotá, yeah. And the other reason is the uncontrolled migration, yes. People, do you think that in Colombia we have migration? Of course, yes. Is it a natural migration or is it a forced migration? Okay, exactly. You have mentioned the key word, yeah? Venezuela. The migration from Venezuela, yes, is not an easy issue for the country, yeah? Because these people that are coming, they are immigrants, they are legal and illegal immigrants, are coming to our country, but in the future, they will start having their families here, yes? But this, as a result, is going to be like a boom in the rates of birth of new citizens. Yeah? These citizens that are from Venezuelan parents, but they're going to be Colombians. Yeah? So in the future, if the situation continues having the same rates of migration from Venezuela, is going to increase, yes, the amount of children that are going to be born in our country. Okay? Let's move on to the next. Okay, good. And now these are the causes. Yes, maybe the 4 causes. There are some others, yes, but I just mentioned the 4 most important causes, okay? And now we are going to see the effects, yes, the most complicated part of this topic of overpopulation, okay? Let's go with the first, okay? One of the most horrendous crimes against the nation is when you start destroying the jungles. That is happening nowadays in Colombia, where we have Guainía, any other department? Guainía, the Amazon, Pinchada, Casanare, Chocó, Antioquia. It's in 31 departments out of 32. Yes? In Colombia we have 32 departments. In 31, we are having this phenomena. What is this phenomena? The intensive farming. What is basically the intensive farming? It's when you destroy the jungle in order to feed the cattle. Yeah? Why does it happen? Because as a result of our population, the countries start asking for more food. More people, more food. So the demand for food is higher day by day. Yeah? That means that we need more new lands for farming. Yeah? That is the most evident case nowadays is in the Amazon. Yes? You know that some other natural park are being destroyed and invaded because of this phenomenon. Okay. Another one is the reliance on pesticides and chemicals and fertilizers. Okay. Why? Because that produces some other. It has one consequence, has some other consequences, further consequences. The first one, when you use chemicals and these kind of chemicals, yeah, for example, nowadays there is a controversial use of one pesticide. What is the pesticide? The glyphosate, exactly, okay? In order to try to eliminate the acres that you have as a result of the harvest of coca, yeah? That's okay. So, the first phenomenon is the eutrophication. Eutrophication, I'm going to explain later what is the eutrophication, okay? The second one is the depletion, and finally, the soil erosion, okay? Let's go indeed this phenomenon, okay? The first one is deforestation, okay? People, what is deforestation? In a very easy way to make a definition. A definition for us. What is deforestation? Okay, when you destroy the forest to start an agricultural activity, okay? This is basically what is happening nowadays in our country, okay? This picture was taken in 2018, that last year in September, in the Amazon, okay? This is happening nowadays in the Amazon, in our territory, in the Amazon, okay? The second one is the agriculture, okay? Why is agriculture so devastating for a country with enormous areas, green areas like our country? Because agriculture is responsible for 80% of the global deforestation every year. Yes, we are using these new lands in order to give food for the animals, and we are using those territories for basically for cattle. Okay. What does it happen? Another consequences when we destroy the jungles is that the ability to capture the carbon dioxide is every day is less than the day before. That means that day by day the greenhouses effects are going to grow up, and a lot of carbon dioxide is going to be released into the atmosphere, and that is going to have another complication and some other consequences on the global warming or the climate change, as we particularly know this effect. Okay, look at this. 20% of the Earth's oxygen is produced in South America. Yes. So when we hear that some people say that the Amazon is one of the lungs of our planet, they are being totally honest. Yes, 20% of the oxygen that everybody breathes in the world comes from our forest, from our jungles. Yes, that are being destroyed. Okay, and not only that happens when you destroy the jungle. Yeah, it also happens because when you destroy the habitats of the animals, you also cause extinction. And we know that extinction is forever. Extinction is not for 1 year or for 2 years. When an animal is extincted, it's going to be forever. Yes, there is not another chance to bring them back. Okay, so we're going to see indeed what are those phenomena. Okay, first of all, the eutrophication. What is this eutrophication? That when you use pesticides and fertilizers, yes, in different farms, that goes with the rain to different lakes or rivers. And what happens? That avoids the coming of the sunlight into the river. So every species in the lake or in the river die, yes, because they don't have oxygen and they don't have access to sunlight. Is absolutely essential, and that is what happens. Yes, we can see this normally in the countryside when we go to Boyacá, when we go to Casanare. Yes, we can see that it happens. Well, it's always near to places where we are planting, yes, different kinds of trees, fruits, and when there is an evidence presence of fertilizers. Okay, so this is another picture of the same phenomena of the eutrophication, and we have the definition here. Okay, it's an enrichment of water by nutrients and salts that causes structural changes to the ecosystems, such as increase the production of algae and aquatic plants. Yeah. The second one, this general deterioration of water quality and the depletion of fish species. Yes. When you can see the presence of algae, yes, on the surface of a lake or a river, that means that it's dead. Yes. No fish is able to survive under these circumstances. Yes. In this environment. Yeah, this is more scientific, and that's another explanation of the same phenomenon. Yeah, so this is a representation of what happens with the alga. Yes, this is the alga bloom that is on the surface of the lake. Yes, so it doesn't let the sunlight penetrate into the water, so that the nutrient, yes, it increases, and also the toxicity, yes, in the water. Yes, as a result, all the species die. Why? Because of the lack of oxygen in the water. Yeah. And another consequence is on the fresh water. Yes, this is the most complicated in terms of when we talk about people. Yes, because just 2.5% of the water that we have in our planet is drinking water. Yes, and this, our population is having an impact, a direct impact on this. Yes, where you can find water, you can find life. Yes, otherwise we wouldn't be able to use other kinds of water. For example, the water that we have in the ocean. Yeah, it's not easy. Yes, to use different chemical and industrial processes in order to make it or to become, drinking water. Okay, and we have a very good example. This is the biggest lake in Bolivia. Yes, and the first picture was taken in 1991, and the other one was taken in 2017. As a result of the climate change, we can see that this enormous lake, that is the second largest freshwater lake, has been disappearing in the 2 last decades. Yeah. So we have another category when we are talking about this topic. Okay, is the water stress? What is water stress? That the amount of people or the amount of water that we need to develop our daily activities is higher than the natural resources that the environment is able to produce and generate. Yeah. As a result, a lot of in 2017, 15, that is a lot. That is a lot. 15 people of world's population lives in these regions. Yes, where there are too many people and there is not enough water to supply the demand. Yes, but this is the most complicated of this issue. Yeah, it's projected that in 2030 is in just 10 years. In 10 years' time, 50% of people will live in these areas. Yes. Mainly, fortunately, not in South America, but in North America and China and India, in Asia. Yes, this is going to be a very important cause for death. Yes, the life expectancy is going to be very significantly reduced as this phenomenon. Yes, the water stress. Okay, and another and very evident and very famous, yes, a lot of documentaries have been released or have been launched in the last 2 years. The most important was by an Hollywood actor that is Leonardo DiCaprio. That's okay, yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio, he, with his own money, he made a documentary, yeah, that was absolutely controversial. Why controversial? Because it was presented in the ONU, yes, in front of the most important leaders from the different countries that we have in the world, yeah. What is basically the global warming? Yes, when the amount of carbon dioxide increases and goes to the atmosphere. So it changes the normal composition of the atmosphere, so that the sunrise coming to in our planet, but we don't have the ability, or the planet doesn't have the ability to release those sun rays back into the atmosphere. Yeah. So as a result, the temperature, the global patterns of temperature increase day by day. And we have the consequences here in Colombia, or every single country in the world. Yeah, mainly in the snows, yes, in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. It's projected that in 2031 to 2032, we won't be able to see more snow in any one of the snows that we have in Colombia. Yeah, Nevada del Cocuy, Nevada del Tolima, Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. They are the most important, the most relevance that we have in our country. Okay, but Colombia is in the position 93. Yes, in the emissions in a global rate. Yes. The most important producers of these kind of gases is the carbon dioxide, is China and the US. Yes, just these two countries, they are responsible for 52% of global emissions of carbon dioxide. Yes, so something wrong is going on with these countries. And guess what? The last year, Donald Trump, he quit from the Kyoto Protocol, yes? And then there is one that was released in 2015, that is what the Paris Protocol, yes? That has horrendous consequences on the global patterns of temperature, yes? President Donald Trump said that this is a theory that some people who have the mission to stop the American economy, to stop their supremacy. Yes, they are the number one, and they want to continue being the number one. And as his slogan said, yes, Donald Trump wants to make great America again. So he said that it was absolutely essential to quit from the Protocol of Paris. Yes, but you know the consequences that it has on our planet. Yeah, and why? Basically, we have such increase in the global production of greenhouse gases because of the use of fossil fuels. Yes, like gasoline, oil, and all the derived products from this one. Okay, why? Because our global industries in the majority of the countries depends on this fossil fuels. Okay, and that means that more people, we need more demand for oil and for gas. Yes, especially in the developing countries. Yes, you know the difference between developing and developed countries. Yeah. Good. And finally, the third part of this presentation is the possible solutions. Yes, everybody, yes, from your own, you can contribute for good or for bad to this problem, to this phenomena that we have, that we're living nowadays. Okay, I'm sorry for the picture of Kenny. Okay, so the first one is making aware people of family planning. Why? Yeah, if you see, there are some countries, like I'm going to take into account the example of China. Yes, in China, it's only used to be permitted to have just one child. Nowadays, the new legislation and the new government from President Xi Jinping, you can have up to 2 children. Yes, in China, you can have 1 or 2 children. If you want to have 3 children, it's not permitted by the laws unless you pay a high amount of money. Yeah. So the first one is to take into account that we can have just 1 or 2 children. Yes. In all around the world, people start being aware of this. Maybe the situation is not going to be controlled. Yeah. But it's not going to advance at the rate that we are seeing this nowadays. Yeah. The second one is a very controversial one, yes, and because it has some other connotations, like the spiritual one, the religious one, but from the scientific point of view, this is a recommendation from the United Nations, yes, that we have to start talking about the abortion, yes. Because a lot of sociologists, social sciences, and many other people, many other professionals have been observing that when people have access to voluntary sterilization, yes, their quality of life increases, yes. More children, that means that we need more economical resources, more natural resources, and some other different resources that maybe we are not going to be able to provide to our children. So the recommendation, the most important, is to have access to voluntary sterilization. It doesn't matter if you have already had a child or not. For example, if you are 20 years and you made the decision to have a voluntary sterilization, according to the international law, the recommendation is that you can have access to this. Okay? The abortion is something that is more controversial, but according to the US, to the UN, is also a good recommendation. Yeah? And as it says, the woman doesn't want to have a baby. Okay? Another one. Wow. Yeah? We have to, as young people, yes, we have to start thinking about having safe sex techniques and contraceptives methods available to avoid unwanted pregnancy. Yes? If you see the countries, the developed countries, these phenomena ranges 2 to 8%. Yes? But if we look the countries like our country in South America, Central America, and some other countries in Asia and in Africa, the unwanted pregnancy is one of the most significant reasons to increase the population. Yes, we cannot control something that we cannot plan. Yes, so the recommendation is to have access, yes, as possible to these different methods. Nowadays, in our society, it's not a stigma. Yes, it's something that we can talk when we are eating with our family, and it's something normal. Yes, there is not a taboo as it used to have before. Yes, so we have plenty of options, and not only for women. Not only for women. I have heard that there is a pill that is going to be started using by men, so we can eat our daily pill every day. Yeah, maybe we can start helping. Okay, but I'm aware of the symptoms that we would have. Yeah. The second one, a very important tool, yes, is to have access to a better education. Yes, when people know about the problems that we're facing as a global society, we start being aware that having children, or having 4 or 5 or 7 children, as our families, our mothers or grandparents used to have before, yes, we can see that we are going to produce a social change. Yeah. Yes, I told you this before that there is a need to have maybe 1 or 2 children at most. Yeah. And finally, we have the sex education to children. Yes. Some people say that, and this is also very controversial. Some people say that it's not very healthy to start talking about sex education to young children. People, that is not real. Yes, according to the United Nations, yes, it's absolutely healthy since a little boy or a little girl is 4 or 5 years, start talking about sexuality. Yes, there's not a taboo, there's not a single problem with this. Yes, you can freely talk about this, and maybe the possibilities to have a healthy adult, yeah, is going to be higher. Yes, important sex education to children at elementary level should be a must. This should be an obligation, not only not only at home, but also in schools. But as we know, the most important school is home. Okay, so with this, I finish my presentation, and we can have we have 5 minutes. Maybe if you guys have any questions, just let me know, please. Anyone of you guys? We're paying attention, and you? Someone say that? No? Any one of you guys have any problem? Any questions? Do not hesitate, please. Okay, so with this, I finish my presentation. Thank you very much for having me here. Okay?
institución de educación superior sujeta a inspección y vigilancia por el Ministerio de Educación Nacional.